Hello to you all, and as ever, it's so nice to be with you on a beautiful summer morning. I have my coffee. I've been so good about remembering it, bringing it in from my car. Aren't you proud? I've developed the right habit again after changing purses. And I had this whole kerfuffle where I was forgetting my coffee about 90% of the time in my car for about 2 weeks. So it was a little rough there. I'm doing well. It's been an interesting morning so far, and I'm going to tell you all about that as well as how that relates to some things that are coming up, both for me and for you. But I wanted to start with some quick housekeeping like I usually do. And I mentioned, was it last week, I think, that I had that major problem with Skype. And when Christina and I went to record the July episode of Planned Not Scripted, the podcast that we do together, monthly podcast, and I contacted the Skype recording software program that I use about it. And I was just relaying my woes to you last week and hoping that we came up with a quick solution. But in the meantime, we recorded our book club July edition for that podcast, which is The Summer Before the War, historical fiction. We recorded that just as a video, as a Google Hangout on air, which I think all things considered went really well. I need to figure out what I did wrong in not activating the live chat room. Working on that. But other than that, I think it went well. And there have been a few requests for us to do video again for August and September, so maybe we'll do that. But what we will do is put out the date much more in advance so that people can plan to attend live if they would like. Of course, you can always watch it after the fact. It's no problem because it is going to be during the lunch hour. That's when we record those. So if you're at work and you can't watch anything, participate in anything, then you can watch it after, but we might do that. But anyway, going back to the audio, I was all stressed because I couldn't record any audio. Since without Skype recording software, I don't have the capabilities of recording both mine as well as a remote co-host's voice, unless I have a mixer, and I put one on my wish list. So maybe for Christmas I'll get a mixer. We'll see, but that would be another learning curve for me, but that's going to be the next technology step for me to learn how to do. So that'll be in the future, but for the time being, it's easiest for me to just use a Skype recorder and then, just capture that digital file and do all my editing, blah, 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 publish the episode. So my Skype recording software was not, all of a sudden, it wasn't communicating with Skype. It couldn't connect to Skype, and it was giving me an error message saying that it couldn't connect to Skype's audio ports. So I reported that to my recording software people, and to their credit, they got back to me within the 72-hour business hours. They said they would. They said, yep, we know that this is a new problem. It seems to be happening after Skype is updated. Yep, and that happens automatically. I didn't have a choice you could uncheck the automatic updates, but I never even thought about that. It just updated one day, and all of a sudden then there's this problem. So we're aware of this problem, but unfortunately we don't have a solution yet. So we will let you know as soon as we do. Well, intentions being good, and maybe they will, but I'm not going to hold my breath. So I started looking at alternatives, and a friend of mine, Stephanie, if you are listening, thank you, Stephanie, suggested a different Skype recording program. And so I downloaded it and I tested it, and it seems to be working. So I'm cautiously optimistic that Christina and I are going to be able to record later today. So hopefully you'll have a new episode of Planned Not Scripted tomorrow. If you don't, you will know that a new problem developed. But we're getting there. So yeah, I'm hoping that happens. So that's all good news, right? Good news. So that's coming well. I haven't started reading the second part of the book again because I'm reading something else that I'm really into, that I Am Margaret book 3. It's really good. Like, I can't put it down. So I want to finish that before I pick up The Summer Before the War again. And I think I'm 60-something% of the way through Margaret. So we're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. Okay, so that's that. So this morning, I was supposed to be teaching right now. It's the first class I've had in a while. It's a summer program. Usually we're not teaching over the summer, but things come up. So it's a summer program here, incoming freshmen, and they asked if I would come and do an overview of library services and how to do a few things in the library and getting started writing a research paper. I had like 30 to 40 minutes, so really easy peasy. And so I prepared something. I brought my flash drive, I got my notes, and I trucked over there. And so it was supposed to begin at my segment at 9:30. So I really wanted to like kind of get that behind me, because even after all these years of teaching and performing, even as a dancer, I still get very, very nervous before I get up in front of a group of people. It's gotten somewhat better. And the only way to make it better is to do it a lot. And it's very intimidating. All the same, I still get really nervous. And so I was just kind of looking forward to I was like in the zone. You know, if you get in the zone, I think people who teach or perform or do anything where they need to be up in front of either their peers or, another group of, where you're, say, teaching, whatever, you have to get in this zone where you're just in the place where you're most extroverted self, and you're putting your best foot forward, and you're like really articulate, and you're concentrating really hard, and you're very professional, and you're just like at this highest level of being able to present something to another person or group of people. So I was in the zone. And once I'm in the zone, my stomach gets just like, it does this little thing, it gets a little jumpy, and I may start to sweat a little bit, just all of the common signs of adrenaline entering your system. And so you're ready to perform, but you're also really looking forward to that downward when you are relaxed after you've finished. But it doesn't happen until after you have finished. So I was looking forward to getting her done. So I get there, and I'm waiting in the back, and there was somebody presenting another piece of their program. And it seemed to me that he was nowhere near finishing up. Oh, well, they must be running over. So I'm just going to clandestinely tuck myself into a corner, and I'm going to text Christina and Samantha and just try to kind of occupy my mind. I looked over my notes again. There's really nothing else that I could do. And I was just waiting. And then like he's having them do exercises. And I'm thinking, oh, boy, this is seems like there might be a lot of waiting involved here. So at one point he sets the students loose into groups to work on something. And so therefore then he's not speaking. The students are all then engaging with each other. And so I felt like that was then a polite opportunity for me to, I was looking, and I spotted the woman that I recognized as coordinating the summer program. And so I made a beeline over there right to her, and I said, hi, she kind of looked, I've seen her many times before, but she did not recognize me. That's okay, I didn't take it personally. And so I reintroduced myself, and she said, oh, I have you down for tomorrow. And now, I know myself. I am perfectly capable of screwing up a calendar because I have done it many times. Many times. I get a call. Gee, I thought you're supposed to be on the reference desk. Like, oh gosh. Something doesn't get put into the calendar. Something gets transposed on the calendar. It happens to everybody. But in this instance, I specifically remembered her email saying Thursday, July 21st. And I said, but just part of like who I am is that I always take the blame. I don't know what you call that, if that's self-deprecating or what that is, but I'm like, oh, maybe I made a mistake in my calendar because like I just said, I'm not immune to these things. So like, I don't know, maybe my memory is wrong of that email. So, and I had blocked out this whole week because we're doing lesson planning for the fall. So going tomorrow is no problem at all. I don't have anything conflicting. And, it was just, I was in the zone. And now I've come down out of the zone because she's told me I don't have to get up and teach today, but now I have to go back into the zone tomorrow. So, it is what it is, but it was fine because my calendar's free, and it's going to be a very short little ditty there, half an hour, so it's no trouble. And so I was just very reassuring. That's always my thing. Like, don't worry, I can come. It was good steps, on my Fitbit. And she's like, oh, okay, I'm so sorry. I didn't even check the date when you messaged me back. And that's okay. Because she has her, her little schedule. It says, different people. On Friday, 9:30. So I said, okay. And so no problem. So I come back, but just because I am who I am, which is to say a little anal, I checked the email, and it indeed said Thursday the 21st. And as I was just starting to record, I saw a message from her pop up apologizing. She's like, oh my goodness, we had a schedule change, and I forgot to tell you about it. I'm so sorry. Of course, it's no problem. But it wasn't me. And I'm not upset that the mistake happened because it could have easily been me. But it's always just a little bit of a relief when it wasn't my brain cells that made the mistake. I always like when that happens. So at any rate, that was my morning. But I was thinking to myself that I could talk a little bit about teaching today because coming up this fall, there's going to be lots of changes in my life in terms of my work life. And so I thought I would, just tell you about those because it always makes me feel better to talk to you about them and how it's going to impact the work that I'm doing with you on the blog and in this podcast and the other things that I do. So coming up this fall, I'm going to be doing a lot of teaching. I'm going to be teaching 1 credit hour of a new English course here at the university that I'm a librarian at. And so there's like 70 sections of this course, and they need librarians to take 1 credit hour each of those sections. And there are 5 of us. So we're doing the public math, and that's a lot of classes, a lot of sections that we're each going to be responsible for. Okay, but I won't have to do preparatory work because we're doing that all this summer. So like before each class. And so in a given week, we're all going to have this one standardized lesson plan. I'm just going to have to teach it somewhere around 13 or 14 times in that week. So that's going to be like 3 classes a day on average. So that's gonna cut into my writing time, as you can imagine, because teaching is not just the teaching. It takes a lot out of me. Just all of these things I was just talking about with this summer class that I went to. It's like going into the zone, coming out of the zone, going back into the zone for the. It's exhausting. It's performing really 3 times a day for 50 minutes. So it's going to consume a lot of my energy. So I was just thinking about that. And there's also this other big thing that's going to factor into my fall as well and is factoring into my summer, just getting started on it. And I've alluded to it before, but I'll tell you a little bit more about it now, although I can't tell you everything. I am working on a larger writing project, which is to say a short book. And I'm very excited about it, but I can't tell you anything about it because it's part of a larger enterprise of books, and that hasn't been all announced yet, so we must wait. But it'll be forthcoming, and I would think that would be in the fall. Maybe it'll be, I don't know, we're going to find out, but it's very exciting. I'm very excited. I have just started working. I'm hoping that this would then be coming out in 2017. So I need to have my book done by early 2017. So I'm starting to write now. I'm going to be writing in the fall. I have all of this teaching. So I'm going to just be carving out as best I can. There are going to be some weeks for teaching that we're not doing in-person instruction. 4 or 5 of them out of a 14-week semester, we're going to be having an online module. So that'll help. That'll free us up a little bit. So, but I'm going to need to be super productive during those weeks. The other weeks I'll be teaching 14 classes. So there's going to be an adventure. But I have wonderful colleagues, and we just hired 3 new librarians who are all super wonderful and nice, and I'm excited about working with all of them. But anyway, so I'm going to have all that going on, and it's going to be really hard to keep up with everything. But I think it's going to be okay. I really do. I've got a good handle on what needs to be done. I'm going to get as much work as I possibly can done this summer when I don't have a lot of other things going on. And I hope that you're going to really enjoy what I end up putting out. So as soon as I can tell you more about it, I will. But in the meantime, the blog. So, and the podcast. What I'm thinking, planned, not scripted, really shouldn't be affected because it's once a month. Easy peasy. Life of a Catholic Librarian. I've been writing 2 posts a week, plus this podcast, Tea Time. There's going to be some weeks where I'm not going to get that much done. I just know it. So my goal is going to be always to have tea time. So I hope you watch or listen to these if you're like an old-time reader of my blog. Especially now with it being available as audio, I'm hoping that that's easier for people that can't sit and watch the video. Actually, I thought about discontinuing the videos and just having it be an audio podcast, but there seems to be some devotees to the video because they feel like they're sitting and talking to me differently in that way. I know my sister likes the videos and her vote really counts. So therefore, I'm going to keep the videos. But since you have the audio option, I'm hoping that most of the people that read this blog subscribe to Tea Time and listen to it. The numbers for Tea Time in terms of subscribers have gone up. You know, they're nothing that's going to be competing with NPR or anything anytime soon. But I can tell that there's more people that have joined in, and so I'm hoping that that's working for everybody. So every week I will put out a Tea Time, and I will write one other post, because if I didn't, I think that would be a quality of life issue. I really need this. I feel like you are all with me as I journey about my day. And I hope that you feel the same way about me and the other friends that you've met via my blog and via social media, in particular Twitter. That seems to be sort of our little hangout. And I just think about what everybody else is doing in their day and how we're praying for each other. And it is really so meaningful to me. So I will definitely be keeping up with things here on this blog. It just may be that there's going to be some weeks where there's slightly less posts than there have been. But I know that you understand. Been working on these other things. It's obviously going to get easier once I have that project done, as well as in the spring. We're changing up the way that that course is offered, and therefore the scheduling is going to be a lot easier, and there's going to be less sections in the spring. So I won't have this, it won't be nearly as bad. So that's good. So we'll just this will be the very first semester that we're doing this, and it's going to be different from the others because we didn't plan out the way that we wanted to kind of separate the library portion as a separate lab. That I think will make scheduling and everything so much easier in the future. That didn't come about in time to be implemented in the fall. So it's going to be a little crazy in the fall. So we'll just deal with it. It'll be okay. And that's kind of what's going on with me. What's going on with you? I'm praying the St. Anne Novena. I left my little St. Anne chaplet is in the car because I was praying with it there. I wish I had it to show you. But there is the video on my chaplets page. I have a video of the beads, and I have an audio of me praying the chaplet. If you want to pray along with me, that's what I'm praying her novena right now. And I think we're on day 5. So that's what's going on with that. I've been thinking, it's almost at 17 minutes, so I need to wrap up, but real quick. I was thinking about the Liturgy of the Hours randomly this week. I've been doing better in the mornings about getting up at a time in which it makes it so that I don't have to rush so much. And I was thinking that I really want to add some kind of a morning prayer routine back into my life. And Liturgy of the Hours came to me. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that, but I need to do something. Do you have a morning prayer routine? Let me know what it is. How is your summer going? Do you have any plans that are upcoming for the fall that you're starting to make preparations for? I'd love to hear about it. And I look forward to talking to you next week. But in the meantime, I look forward to your comments. Talk to you soon. Bye.